Hi, I'm still waiting for Godot. No beating around the bush this time around. It has been 5 months since the last update from Towerborne, 5 months since Stoic went virtually radio silent. No new ventures, no new items, teasers, not even a simple more is coming, just a lingering promise of version 1.0. So what gives? This is the same game that once had near bi-weekly updates. The same game that had the developers gaming with us for hours on end and then nothing. It was like our line was cut short overnight. In fact, if you've been paying attention to the gaming world, the silence started around the same time as major shifts at Microsoft. So, if you haven't been keeping up with what's been going on behind the scenes, let me give you the rundown of what I've observed over the past 5 months, both in the studio and within the community, as well as some of my thoughts and concerns on Towerborne, which I don't think I've given before. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Microsoft has had major layoffs for the past year and a half, with some 15,000 jobs, most likely more, lost, 9,000 of which took place in just 1 month. With Xbox being the publisher of Towerborne, I think it's safe to say that their initiative to cut spending has impacted the game. It's been reported that Stoic laid off 7 or 8 members, one of which was the lead art designer. Now, 7 or 8 people might not seem like a lot compared to thousands, but for a small studio like Stoic, that is potentially huge. That's not just shifting the work around, that's project direction, pipeline impacts, and the very real fear that your job might not be there tomorrow. That kind of pressure is bound to affect morale, it affects everything. And we felt that impact on the community side too. The Towerborne Discord community manager, T-Rex, the one person who still interacted with us daily, even if it wasn't with big news, quietly lost their Stoic tag sometime after the layoffs. No announcements, no farewells, just gone. And honestly, that sucks. It was an unceremonious departure that matched the silence surrounding the game itself. So T-Rex, if you ever see this, I really appreciated your good time zones. I wish you nothing but the best, and that goes for all the members at Stoic who were laid off. Losses like that absolutely shake a project. They shake the people making it, and they shake the people waiting for it. Which leads me to my next point, the community. I actually wrote a whole version of this segment already, but it leaned more into drama than I wanted it to. So this is my attempt at a more objective take. I hold no promises. When Towerborne launched, the Discord was great. There were active regulars, helpful discussion, bug reports, people excited to share their builds and discoveries. It felt alive. But as updates slowed down, conversations slowed down too. Combine that with the silence from Stoic and silence from players who naturally moved to other games, and a void opened up. A void that got filled with the same questions every day. Where's the new content? Where's the roadmap? Is the game abandoned? Is Towerborne dead? Day after day, the community spiraled into the same loop. Arguments popped up about nothing. Frustrations were palpable. Eventually, it just became exhausting. Even I took a step back. And I'm not gonna name names, but one of the more active members, a fellow content creator, basically went rogue. They went from a helpful regular to a full-time live-in troll, giving Trundle a run for his title.
Not Troll Chief, Troll King! King!
New players, old players, didn't matter. Every conversation with this individual turned into some sort of petty squabble that just dominated the conversations. Long story short, the Towerborne community got a little toxic. Not entirely, but enough that I didn't blame Stoic for not wanting to wade back into the Discord. Hell, I didn't want to go back to the Discord. But the truth is, this could have been avoided. It happened because the silence went on so long that people started to assume the worst. And as much as I don't want to give that troglodyte any credit, their frustrations came from a place of passion. They cared. They just expressed it about as gracefully as Meaty from Made in Abyss. If you get that, you get it. If not, I just wasted 20 seconds of your life. Moving on. My biggest fear is that Towerborne might end up following the same path as Wayfinder. If you missed that game or you forgot it existed, here's a refresher. Wayfinder launched back in 2024, developed by Airship Syndicate, a studio known for their high-quality, story-driven single-player games. Battle Chasers, Darksiders Genesis, Riot's Ruined King. So when they suddenly pivoted into a live service MMO light backed by a larger publisher, Digital Extremes, people were confused. Sound familiar? When Digital Extremes stepped away, Wayfinder had to reinvent itself. They dropped the live service model entirely, tore out most of the MMO structure, and rebuilt the game as a single-player co-op ARPG. And honestly, most players liked the new direction, and the game might not have survived without it. Kudos to Airship Syndicate for not abandoning the game. But for me, that is not what I want for Towerborne. If I wanted a pure 2D beat-em-up experience, I'd go play Absolem, which is a great game by the way, feel free to check it out. What makes Towerborne special for me is the living world, the shared experience, the feeling of a growing community, and right now, that future feels really shaky. Because for a live service game, Towerborne's player counts are low, really low. Some days on Steam it dips into the single digits, and on a good day it hits maybe 20 players. Now sure, Xbox and Game Pass numbers could be different, but judging by how empty the Belfry and Overworld are, I doubt they're drastically higher. Now, I'm not someone that likes to weaponize Steam charts, especially for a game that's going to be free to play. There will be a surge of players, but it's hard not to be concerned when the current number count is that minuscule. Now, it doesn't mean that the game is doomed or dead, but it does mean that the margin for error for 1.0 is really small. Speaking of 1.0, let's talk about the most encouraging news we've had in a long time, the reason I feel confident coming back to even talk about Towerborne. Recently, the CEO of Stoic, Trisha, has been making the rounds reassuring players that Towerborne is very much alive and still in development. She's been clear that while they can't share information right now, they will the moment they're allowed to. And honestly, if the CEO is saying that they can't talk, that tells me that the silence we've been experiencing may not have been coming from Stoic. It is almost certainly a direct request from Microsoft. In Trisha's latest message, she also added, "For what it's worth, we think you'll love it." Now, sure, every CEO wants you to be excited for their game, but I've seen Trisha spend hours playing Towerborne. She understands what makes this game fun. I'm confident that they've heard our feedback, that they're improving the game, and that our concerns haven't fallen on deaf ears, and yes, my favorite flavor is in fact leather. Seriously though, I haven't been given any reason to doubt Stoic is still making a great game, the same game that I've loved for the past year. And I'm gonna wait and see before I cast any further judgment. Anyway, that is the update, that's all I got. That being said, if Stoic drops the ball on this one, I'm going full Kermit.
Oh my god! Oh jeez!
Dude, I really just want to get back to making my shitty little build videos and making memes. That's who I am at heart.